if you really want to get a handle on modern culture, you have to go back to this one moment. A moment in the 1950s when music stopped being, just something your parents listened to.
And became something else entirely.
Exactly. It became a rebellion. We're
Yeah.
talking about a true cultural revolution here. The birth of rock and roll.
It feels like this sudden explosion of sound, but it wasn't random at all. If you trace the DNA of rock and roll, you find this really beautiful fusion.
Where does it come from?
Well, it really sparks to life in the U.S., late 1940s, early 1950s, and it's weaving together these three big strands. You've got the drive of rhythm and blues, the complex ideas from jazz, and then the real storytelling from country music.
And there's another ingredient too, right? That soulfulness.
Oh, absolutely. The electric guitar is the engine, no question. But a lot of those early artists, especially the singers and the piano players, they brought this intense passion straight from Southern gospel music. You can hear that shout, that feeling in almost every early track.
And that electric guitar you mentioned. It wasn't just there, it was loud.
It was everything, amplified, cranked up. It became the defining feature. Music was, for the first time, intentionally fast and loud. It was a physical sound.
And that volume, that speed,
Yeah.
that was a signal aimed at one specific group, wasn't it?
Teenagers, absolutely. Radio stations suddenly woke up and saw this huge, untapped audience. This music and the whole culture around it was the first thing really designed specifically for you.
And the songs themselves, they had a sort of blueprint.
They did. It wasn't just random energy. Most of these early, powerful songs were built on this simple but incredibly effective framework, the 12-bar blues.
Okay, let's break that down for a second. Why the 12-bar blues? What is that?
It's essentially a pattern for a song. It uses a specific sequence of chords over 12 measures or bars. It's simple, super easy to learn, and you can repeat it endlessly.
So that simplicity is the magic ingredient.
It's the key. It lets musicians just create and improvise on the spot. It gives the music this raw, immediate feeling that the more polished pop songs just didn't have. It was the perfect sound for a new, kind of restless generation.
So if that was the musical plan, where was the physical home for this new sound? I think we had to go straight to the engine room in Memphis, Tennessee.
Sun Records.
Sun Records.
Yeah. And Sun Records wasn't some corporate giant. It was a tiny, independent recording studio. But its owner, Sam Phillips, he had a vision.
He wasn't just looking for hit songs.
No, he was looking for a sound that could cross cultural lines.
Yeah.
He famously said he was looking for a white singer who had the Negro sound and the Negro feel.
And boy, did he find them.
He really did. I mean, that one tiny studio recorded the people who would define the genre. Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins. The stuff they recorded there is still some of the most important music ever made.
But it wasn't just the artists. Sun had its own sound, right? A specific atmosphere.
Totally. They had this signature production style that used an effect called slapback.
Okay, explain what that sounds like, because slapback doesn't really do it justice.
Right, so imagine you shout in a small, empty garage. That quick, sharp echo you hear right after. That slapback. It's a single, very fast echo that makes the voice sound bigger, almost like it's jumping out of the speakers.
So give it a raw, live feeling.
Exactly. A kind of garage band feel that sounded exciting and even a little bit dangerous to listeners.
Looking at the bigger picture then, that sound from Memphis was really the launch pad for a huge cultural shift.
Oh, massive. Before this, teenagers just listened to whatever their parents had on, pop music from big bands.
Pretty bland stuff.
Yeah, but rock and roll changed that power dynamic. It created the first industry built just for young people. It gave them an identity. It wasn't just music. It was a whole lifestyle.
Leather jackets, poodle skirts.
The whole thing. It proved that youth culture could drive a global economy.
Okay, so let's move from the studio to the architects. The people who actually built the language of rock and roll, starting with the guitar players. And you just can't talk about rock without talking about Chuck Berry.
The architect, that's what they call him, and it's true.
Why him specifically?
Because he did everything. He was a phenomenal guitarist, sure, but he was also a genius songwriter. He wrote these incredibly detailed lyrics about actual teenage life.
So not just love songs.
No, songs about cars, about high school, about dances. He gave teenagers a soundtrack for their world. And his stage presence.
Good duck walk.
The duck walk. He made the guitar a visual thing, hopping across the stage on one foot while playing these incredible solos.
And his guitar playing itself was revolutionary.
It really was. He used a Gibson guitar that gave him this sharp, rhythmic sound. And he developed these techniques like double stops, where you play two strings at once, that were a total revelation.
It's no wonder that later bands were obsessed with him.
Oh, absolutely. Bands like the Beatles and especially the Rolling Stones, they basically learned to play by copying his records note for note. He wrote the rule book.
Okay, so from the architect to the beatmaster, let's talk about Bo Diddley.
Right. Bo Diddley's big contribution wasn't really melody, it was rhythm.
The Bo Diddley beat.
That's it. It's this infectious, kind of syncopated five-note pattern. Bum, 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 bum. Once you hear it everywhere.
In so many songs.
Countless songs, pop, R&B, everything. He treated his guitar almost like a drum, just driving the whole song forward with that one powerful rhythm.
He also had that very famous rectangular guitar.
Yeah, a custom-made thing. It was all part of his unique style. And what's so cool is that his focus on this raw, driving beat really forms a bridge between the old blues he grew up on and the future of music, like hard rock, even early heavy metal.
Then you have the guy who basically invented the modern rock band, Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly is such a key figure. He was a pioneer because he was one of the first to do it all himself. He wrote his songs, he produced his records, and he performed them. Total creative control.
Which was not the norm back then.
Not at all. And he created this instant, iconic look with the big black-rimmed glasses. He made it cool to be a little nerdy, but his biggest impact was probably his band, the Crickets.
Because they set the lineup right.
Yeah, they set the standard. 2 guitars, bass, and drums. If you look at pretty much any rock band today, that's the blueprint. It started right there.
And his singing style was really unique, too.
The hiccup vocal style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this sort of sudden yelp or catch in his voice that adds this emotional punch. It made his songs sound so youthful and energetic.
He was also a real innovator in the recording studio.
He was. He experimented with techniques like double tracking his vocals, layering them to make his voice sound fuller. It's just tragic that his career was cut short when he was only 22. But his influence on producers and how records are made, it lasted for decades.
So while the guitar was becoming the star of the show, there were other artists proving that the piano could be just as explosive.
And if you want to talk about pure energy,
Yeah.
you have to start with Little Richard.
He was just wild, a true showman.
Completely over the top and on purpose, the flamboyant outfits, the makeup. He was challenging every single conservative standard of the 1950s.
And his piano playing was just relentless.
So fast, pounding the keys, shouting with this powerful voice. His first big hit, Tutti Frutti, is famous for that crazy nonsensical intro. They said he could scream in key, which is an amazing feat of vocal power. You can hear that gospel influence so clearly.
He brought this theatrical chaos to the stage. But then you have a different kind of chaos, maybe a more menacing kind, with Jerry Lee Lewis.
That killer.
He earned that nickname.
He sure did. His style was fierce, aggressive. Frankly, it felt dangerous. He attacked the piano.
He didn't just sit there and play.
No way. He was famous for his physical energy. He'd stand up, literally kick the piano stool away.
And play with his feet.
And play with his feet, his elbows, whatever he could use.
Yeah.
He brought this feeling of risk and unpredictability to every single performance. He proved the piano could be just as much of a lead instrument as the electric guitar.
So if Little Richard was explosive and Jerry Lee Lewis was dangerous, where does Fats Domino fit in?
Fats Domino is the smooth sound. He's from New Orleans, and his style is much calmer, more melodic.
He had a friendlier image, which probably helped.
It definitely helped him appeal to a really wide audience. I mean, his version of Blueberry Hill was one of the biggest songs of the entire decade. He played with this rolling rhythm that comes right out of the New Orleans jazz tradition.
So he was kind of a bridge.
He was a perfect bridge. He was one of the first R&B artists to cross over and have huge hits on the mainstream pop charts. He showed that rock and roll could be infectious without being threatening.
That ability to cross over is the perfect transition to the icons who took this music global, starting with Bill Haley and his Comets.
Right. Bill Haley's band was responsible for the first global rock and roll tsunami.
Rock Around the Clock.
Rock Around the Clock. The song became a sensation after it was in the movie Blackboard Jungle.
And that movie was key, wasn't it?
It was crucial. Suddenly, it wasn't just a hit record. It was the theme song for teenage rebellion all over the world. A lot of music historians point to that song as the exact moment rock and roll really took over.
Haley himself was a little different from the other stars. He was older, had that same spit curl hairstyle.
And his band used instruments like the upright bass and the saxophone, which gave their music this really heavy, swinging beat.
Mm.
They were so important for taking the genre overseas, especially to the UK, where they inspired a whole new generation of musicians.
But if you had to pick one name, one face, to sum up the global impact of this era, it has to be Elvis Presley.
The King, yeah.
Yeah.
He became the single most recognizable icon of the mid-1950s.
He was more than just a singer. He was a catalyst. He had the charisma, the looks, and this incredible voice that could do anything from powerful rock songs to soft ballads.
And his real innovation was how he blended genres. He's the one credited with creating rockabilly. He took the raw feeling of African-American blues and merged it perfectly with the sound of Southern country music. His success basically made the genre legitimate on a global scale.
On television, he was just revolutionary
Yeah.
and very controversial.
Oh, yeah. Those dance moves, the hip shaking.
Yeah.
It was considered totally shocking. Camera crews would often only film him from the waist up.
Which, of course, only made him more famous.
Exactly. And here's the real test of his star power. He gets drafted, serves 2 years in the Army, and comes back to an even bigger global audience. That cemented his status. It proved this music wasn't just a fad, it was here to stay.
So we've gone through the pioneers, the sound, the attitude. What does all this mean for the music that we listen to right now?
Well, these artists basically created the language of modern pop music. I mean, any genre that depends on a loud, aggressive guitar, hard rock, metal, punk, it's all directly descended from the work of Chuck Berry and Burr Diddley.
And the spirit of it connects all the way to hip-hop today.
Yeah.
The rhythmic innovation, the direct lyrics.
For sure. And they broke down huge social barriers just by getting all kinds of different young people united by this irresistible rhythm.
Even the technical stuff they invented is still around.
Totally. The studio tricks that Buddy Holly was using, like overdubbing or that raw slapback echo from Sun Records, sound engineers still use those ideas to make hits today. The sound is still the sound.
I think the biggest takeaway is just that monumental shift in power. These artists focused the entire entertainment world on youth culture. And that changed social life. It changed the global economy forever.
So a final thought for you to chew on. Think about the artists you listen to right now. Who's out there today? Which new sounds or performers are changing the rules and shifting how people think about music and culture? What's the next revolution?
We'll leave you with that. See you next.